Robert, I'm very happy to have you here in Hamburg.
I'm glad to be here also in the office, Arne.
It is very, very nice because you brought a little underdog with you.
Just a very little one, yeah?
Yeah.
14 years old, yeah.
14 years old
yeah.
underdog, and he's making a lot of trouble for the big ones. And you chose one of a very, very nice game from Yagiz Kaan Erdogmus, which we will look at right now.
Yeah, absolutely. He's probably the strongest 14-year-old player the chess world has ever seen. It's very impressive, and I know that he actually got invited to play in the Challengers originally, but they didn't want to do that. He wanted to play in the Masters, and well, I think he scored 7 out of 13.
Yeah.
So he showed where he belongs.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he played black against Arjun Erigaisi. He's a quite strong player.
Not a bad player, yeah.
No,
I think he was even top seeded, but this year, but also last year, Erigaisi had a really tough time in Yagiz Kaan Erdogmus. I think in both events he lost like 30 rating points, so that's a lot of work to regain all of those points. But his that game Erigaisi against Erdogmus, it's a really special game. I was really impressed with what happened, so I would like to share that with all of you. Yeah.
Let's go. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's have a look. So Erigaisi goes for 1c4, the English opening, e5, g3, knight f6. Bishop g2. Okay, this is all pretty standard. c6 with the idea to play d5 very soon. Knight f3, provocative move, and then e4. Here we go. This is where the fun is gonna start.
Honestly, I would play the same. Is it like that's theory still?
It's still theory in a way. It's a sort of Sicilian alapin with reversed colors.
Okay.
But this is all kind of normal, and the idea is that after the knight goes to d4, you're going to occupy the center with d5. And it looks like you have very nice prospects here. You can get your bishops out, you can castle. But okay, white is also about here to challenge the center, so things are not that simple. The main move is to take on d5, but that allows the queen to come into play.
Oh, you take with the queen.
You take with the queen this time, yeah. And again, the pawn on e4 ensures that white also has some difficulties to develop. But a lot of theory here. I'm not going to bother you with that. Okay. d3 is the other move, which brings a lot of tension in the center. And here the queen comes out to b6 to hit the knight. Knight went back to b3. And now, very interesting moment, a novelty on move 7. A move we could have all played here. Knight g4. With the idea, of course, to take on f2. But
will he see it?
Will he see it? Well, I will get you out of your dreams. And he castled here, so damn, you have to start all over again. Yeah. But
he's not as good as I thought.
Yeah, big surprise. e3.
Oh
E3.
my
That's
gosh,
the idea.
Okay, well that's nice.
So you see that the knight and the queen are both supporting that pawn. So capturing is not very attractive. White goes f3 to hit the knight. But the knight comes in, visiting the white pieces, attacking the queen. Queen goes to c2.
Okay, I need a quick question here.
Sure.
Can white just not win a pawn by just taking on e3? Oh my god!
Your queen is hanging.
Yeah, but the other queen is also hanging. But
that's a good question. Actually, I haven't really thought about it. But what happens after bishop takes e3? Let's try to work things out. Your idea is that if queen takes, there is rook takes f2.
Exactly, and now we have like a pawn more.
Your upper pawn, that's actually a good point. But there's compensation for sure.
I'm afraid so, yeah. I mean, there's still, because this bishop cannot go to c5, that would be a nice follow-up. And who knows?
But maybe I can even consider a move like a5 here. You help me with your idea of bishop c5, because I would like to go a4, chase the knight away, and when the knight is no longer there, I can bring out the bishop to c5 and hit the rook on f2.
Who knows? Maybe there's a variation like this, but yeah, it looks good for black, to be honest. So.
I think it's still quite interesting, and probably it was still home preparation by Erdogmus, because actually bishop takes e3, it's a very important move to consider. But okay, it was not played. Queen c2 is the other logical move to get out of the way. But now the knight comes to h3 with check. And, well, white has to decide. If you go...
Draw.
Theoretically, this is possible, yeah. It's like king h1, knight f2, and it's a repetition already, but yeah, you can blame a 14-year-old doing that against the top seed.
Definitely not, no.
So knight
But
h3.
how annoying for the top seed to be confronted with a situation like this, right?
Good question. In general, Erigaisi is usually very well prepared. I'm not sure how he how well prepared was for this particular line. But okay, he goes for the interesting move. Bishop takes h3. Normally, you don't really want to give up that bishop, because in the English, that bishop should become a monster on this diagonal. But with so many pawns standing in the way, it actually makes sense to trade off the bishop for the knight. Black takes back.
But that looks...
Yeah, but you know, you're attacking the rook. On the other hand, it's only a major problem if black could get a queen on g2.
Yeah, okay.
And as long as that's not possible, okay, life goes on. It's
all right. It looks a bit like crowded to me. Rook e1 was an idea I just thought of. Yeah.
Yeah, rook e1. I think rook d1. It's a bit more ambitious, and I think white has ideas here to play moves like c5 and maybe d4 to disconnect the queen from the pawn on
pick up the pawn
e3.
later. And
yeah, if that is possible, then okay, white has a great position.
Yeah.
So black has to play here d4. So the pawn is supported now. And if you just play a random move here, let's say white is going to develop its knight. Look at this. Then black plays c5. And this is a massive chain. Bishop is stuck. Rook cannot get into play. Black is completely winning here.
Yeah,
like you shift the attention to the other side of the board and you'll get a crushing attack.
Oh, I don't want... That's like the least fun to play against a position like that.
Yeah, it's not fun. But it happened to everyone once at least.
Yeah, that's true.
C5 is played here to prevent black from playing that move. You're attacking the queen. The queen went back to d8 to keep the pawn defended. And white is going after the pawn with the queen. Queen c4.
How to defend this one?
Not. Don't do that.
You cannot.
You cannot. And you just play here knight a6, which is a nice move with the idea that you would like to win the pawn on c5. So white took here with the queen. Now queens are coming off the board. Black captures on c5 with tempo, hitting the knight. But white does the same by taking on e3.
Oh, what a pity.
And the knight is defended. Now, a lot of people would think, well, things have gone wrong.
I think things have gone wrong.
And that's where 14-year-olds start to calculate nowadays.
The power of the underdog.
Look at this. Black continues in a very powerful manner. Can you see the move here for black?
Okay, wait, let me think.
Just keep it simple. Don't look for any brilliancy. Just try to add some more pressure to the position.
Pressure. Well, long castling would be nice.
Long castling, very good.
I would have played this anyway. I think this.
Get the king out of the way. The rook hits the knight.
Get the second rook there.
Get the second rook involved. That's what happens. The knight goes back to c2.
Oh yeah, that's already.
Bishop is defended by the knight here, but rook h e8.
Oh, I would have taken it then.
No, this is very clever because now if white would take on c5,
you take on e2.
You take on e2. You're crushing through on the second rank, hitting the knight, threatening a check here as well, and you cannot really save material. If you play knight d4, there's rook g2, check, king goes away, and at the end of the day, the bishop will be picked up as well.
Very nice.
Yeah. So. No bishop takes c5. White has to defend the bishop with another piece. So the king comes out to help. And then another very cool move. Can you find it?
Well, I quickly thought about rook takes on e3, but it won't work. So if the knight takes back, and rook goes e8, then there's d4 and
exactly.
Dreams are shattered. Okay.
Something very similar happened in the game, actually.
Yeah, okay. I'm looking at knight b4, maybe.
Knight b4, very good insertion. Now, if you take that knight, there is rook takes e3.
Beautiful.
With some devastating threats along this diagonal. The knight is also hanging still, so that doesn't work. And if you take instead the bishop on c5, there is knight takes c2, and the rook is trapped in the corner.
Probably the less worst variation, but still.
Exactly, yeah. But look at this. The knight on c2 is being protected by its colleague, knight ba3. And now your idea, rook takes e3, positional exchange, sacrifice.
Oh, now it's working.
Now it's really interesting.
Oh my god.
Knight takes e3, but be careful. You have to play very precisely here, because your original move,
it's not
good. It's not good.
It's still d4 is
it's still d4,
breaker,
and black is losing here. So how to add more pressure? Well, you would like to play a move like bishop d4, and then go for rook e8. But if you play bishop d4, the problem is that white will play g4, and then the bishop is going to be trapped at this part of the board.
That's unfair. I didn't even think about that.
It's bizarre, but this is how these guys calculate. The point also is that bishop takes b2, runs into rook b1. Bishop takes a3, rook b3, and all these minor pieces are stuck at the edge of the board. White is winning here.
Wow.
Because the bishop is trapped, and the other one can't escape either. So after knight takes e3, key move. This is very difficult. I was very impressed that Erdogmus found this idea. It's bishop e6. The bishop goes back all the way, just it doesn't want to get trapped. And, well, black doesn't intend here to win the knight on e3, but wants to play it in a slow manner, like bishop can come to d4, maybe the knight can come to d5. White therefore cannot play knight c2 because the knight will just be taken. And how is white getting out of that pin? That is the difficult thing. And well, maybe you can play a move like rook ac1 and then go bishop d4.
But you're still in the pin.
You're still in the pin, and there are a lot of long lines. White is apparently doing okay.
It's very pinful.
Very pinful, very pinful, yeah. Instead, d4 played in the game. White is giving back a pawn to get some interaction on the d file.
We take with the rook.
Take with the rook, yeah. Now the king has the chance to get out of the diagonal because the rook is blocking the bishop.
Okay, and the knight can take the rook.
Rook takes d1, knight takes d1, and there's knight takes a2. So now, finally, it's getting a bit calmer. Not for a long time.
How can this get calmer? I mean, okay, we have the bishop pair, but we have one exchange less, right?
True. It's still a sharp position, but we had a lot of exchanges in the last couple of moves. A lot of tension. That is gone for now, but black is doing quite well here with the bishop pair, and also the imbalance in pawn formation. So we see that black is having a 3 versus 1 on the queen side. These pawns are going to roll, while white is pretty slow advancing in the center with its extra pawn. Let's see what happens. White played king d2. The pawn is coming to b5, knight c2, and a5. Knight c3 played, and here one pair of knights is getting exchanged. You can take back with the king, but then a pawn will come to a4, and well, black is making a bit of progress.
Who would you rather be in this position?
Well, considering the fact that it was all played, and I think it's you're not risking that much. I think in general, if you have a situation with an extra exchange, you cannot automatically say like the rook is better than the bishop. You need to look at the open files. And here there's one open file, but all the squares have been covered. Yeah, so the rook will never be able to invade somewhere. So you're not risking much here as black. In the game, white, instead of taking back with the king, decided to recapture with the pawn, which is playable, but it kind of surprised me a bit because the
pawns are getting stronger.
The pawns are getting stronger. The pawn goes to a4, obviously. White plays e4, and now just strengthen the position by bringing up the king. White plays f4 with ideas to chase the bishop away. So there's time to go g6, and you see that white's majority on the king side has been neutralized for now. Knight d4 played. So there's interaction again. What would you do with black?
That's the question. I have to calculate, right? If you take, then you have to calculate if the pawn goes to c4 and the The
bishop?
The bishop goes to c4 and the pawns move forward somehow. Is it enough? Or are the pawns in the centers too strong? I don't know. I don't think it works. I don't have a good feeling about this.
I don't know. To me, it's very difficult to evaluate, at least practically. I would think white is okay. Because it's very difficult to push the b pawn. The only way to get the b pawn involved is by starting with king b6, and then you got to play king a5.
Okay.
To protect the pawn on a4, and then you can push. But I think this is very difficult to see, and in the meantime, white may have some counterplay in the center with a pawn move. So it's not obvious to me at all. But according to the machine, it's a strong idea.
Oh wow!
But let's try to
it's also
look at
just very difficult to get rid of your nice bishop pair, right?
Yeah, very understandably, you just put the bishop on c4, and you feel like, if I want, I can still exchange the bishop for the knight later on. e5 played, and now, very nice idea, bishop goes back to e7. That's not to help the bishop, but it's more to push the pawn to c5.
Oh!
Yeah, that's one idea. In other cases, even a move like f6 is quite interesting to try to get rid of the pawn, but I think c5 is in a way more logical.
Goes to b4 eventually.
Yeah, knight back to c2, and now you can also mobilize your king. Knight e3 played, and the bishop goes to b3. You don't want to white to take the bishop. f5, looking for counterplay. But now, what would you do here, Arne?
Well, I would go bishop g5, then I would push on b4, king b5, and those pawns will just do the trick.
In fact, I think white's strategy it's very logical, because white is looking for counterplay, but it basically helped black to activate its dark squared bishop. And if we go back a few moves, apparently it would have been better to play a move like g5 to ensure that this bishop cannot help black in one way or another. But this looks so anti-positional to fix the pawns and to stop your own majority from coming forward.
That's so crazy. I mean, one of the things for white is to push the pawns, and now out of a sudden it's like blocked.
Exactly. So this is why it's very understandable why Erigaisi went for this line. But let's go back and see what happens in the game. So white wanted
that was
to
the game actually. Okay.
Yeah, bishop g5 played king d3, bishop f4. Now you see both pawns on h2 and e5 under an attack. And well, it's important to know that white cannot really do something here like e6, because after taking, of course, the f pawn can become dangerous, but the king is still within distance of the pawn. So that's not a problem. King e4 played, and attacking the bishop.
Can you take on h2?
Do you want to take?
Probably not. No.
Well, actually, good question. If you take on h2, there is this idea to play c4. Don't ask me why, but if you play b4, the idea is to go fg, hg, and bring the rook to f1, and now you see
you cannot stop it.
The bishop is no longer defending f7, and most importantly, white is threatening a check, then forcing the king to go back, and then you take on f7 with check. So the rook becomes really powerful, and black's pawns are not dangerous because the rook can always get behind the queenside pawns.
How, if I may ask? I'm sorry that I'm... but how can look, a3, right?
a3, I'm going to give a check.
Yeah, we go down to b.
B, I take.
Then we go up. Oh, no.
Where do you want to go?
No,
here?
we cannot go there. That's not good. There is a knight check. That is very devastating.
Yeah, that's... Maybe white's taking over here. There's
so
also an e-pawn.
So, yeah, let's go down. Oh, this knight check is the thing which is the decider, right? We can never really go up. So if we go to b8,
b8,
rook f6 is all it needs, doesn't it?
Well, at least you can give a check if you want. And how is black going to play for a win here? At least you can keep on giving checks.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, the a-pawn is not dangerous. In worst case, the rook can also come back to f1.
Honestly, it looks very dangerous.
Yeah. So, but this is also a very important rule of thumb, is that the more pawns you're going to take, the more open files will appear on the board, and that helps the side with the rook. So stay away from the pawns, just g5, very nice move. And so everything is still under control here. And white played very natural move. I think you would also have played it. I would have played it also, or don't worry.
Okay.
I think h4 is a very logical move to try to put a bit of pressure and ensure that the pawn on h2 is not hanging.
Knight g2 or?
Maybe knight g2, exactly. At least try to generate some sort of counterplay. But it's a mistake because black now is going to play which move?
I don't know. I mean, let me quickly... No, it's just... I thought about taking, but it's insane. It's not working.
Taking where?
On h4.
Well, then you give up the bishop.
Yeah.
No, don't do that.
No, it's not working.
But you want to get that pawn, but you don't want to lose your bishop.
So we just take in between, or
take
like the knight?
Yeah, take the knight first, exactly. And after king takes, now it is g takes h4. Doesn't look nice, the pawn formation, but we have two outside passed pawns. King d2. The king is trying to come over to the queen side, while the rook is trying to help out there.
Oh no!
But what would you play now with black?
I would, let me think. Bishop d5.
Controlling the corner square, the promotion square of the h-pawn. And apparently there is still a way to hold here for white, which is absolutely insane. In the game they followed rook e1. Logical move, but it's not good. Apparently white should go for his own chance with g5.
Oh.
King d7, try to stop the pawn. e6. And now, for instance, king e7, try to get closer to the pawns. There are a lot of other options as well. But after taking, king takes f7. Now there's an absolutely bizarre move. And it's so difficult to see from afar. I think there's one move which saves the game here for white.
Is it f6?
No, not yet, not yet. But you remember, you got to deal with the h-pawn. But you also got to deal with the outside passed a-pawn. So you need to manage these two situations on both flanks.
Yeah, how? I mean, the king cannot go even over. Oh, it's c4.
c4.
So it deflecting
the bishop.
Pawn or the bishop.
You never want to take with the pawn, because then you can simply take the a-pawn at some point. And if you take with the bishop, then the rook can come in. Still, this looks absolutely insane. You have three connected passed pawns.
Yeah.
But after, for instance, king g7, rook takes h4, a3, the rook can come back either via e1 or via e7, and then the king is also stuck with a lot of checks. Apparently this is a draw. I mean, we could play it out and we have no idea what the result is going to be.
True.
But it's nice to see that this idea with c4 is very, very spectacular. In the game, rook e1 played, but then king d7, the king got to neutralize white's counterplay in the center. If you now, for instance, play e6, was not played in the game, you can simply take, and now the bishop is also deflected, so the idea is to pick up the pawn on h4, but after bishop takes, rook takes,
and now h5.
h5 or even bishop f5, one of these two moves. But this is a technically winning position, as it's too difficult to handle situations on both sides of the board. The king is going to come out to help out soon. Let's go back to the game. Rook e3 played, another way to try to stop the h-pawn.
Bishop g2.
Wait, one move. It's a good idea, actually, but it was played one move later. a3 first.
Oh, yeah.
The king got to go in that way. And now bishop g2, dominating the rook, and there's not much white can do against this. e6.
Desperate.
There are various ways to continue.
Well, we just take. Okay, I got it. But
you can
if we just take, then there's f6. So
not really, because the king is also still close enough. The simplest way was played by Erdogmus. He just went king e8. He said, I'm not interested in taking on e6, because if you do take, the rook may still be able to help out protecting the pawn from behind while the king is near. It's also winning, but you do give a bit of counterplay.
Yeah.
So no need to allow that. And with king e8, your king is just neutralizing the f-pawn. The rook can come to e6 here as well. But then, let's say just b4.
Okay.
And now if you go rook h6, we have b3. The pawn on h7 is not relevant. We can just go king g8. You can even take the pawn on h4. But now it is b2. And on the next move, it's bishop e4. And the b pawn is going to be promoted.
Bishop saves the day.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, few more moves. g5 was Erigaisi's last try. b3, as announced, rook f6, king g8, rook e6, b2, king c2. Now at least the rook is covering the e4 square. But you got another problem, as the h-pawn is coming there. And this is simply too much with h2, h1 coming. White will have to give up the rook, and then later the other pawns will promote as well. Black won for a 14-year-old. It's probably one of the most impressive victories ever against the former 2800 player. Yeah, so yeah.
Absolutely crazy. Thank you so much for showing us this special game. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
See each other soon again.
See you. Bye bye.
Bye.